NumismaTalks every second and fourth Thursday of the month at noon Mountain. We will be here with a new presentation. During this presentation, you may come up with questions. If you do, please use the Q&A button on your screen to send in your question, as all of you are muted on this presentation. Your question will be addressed at the end of the presentation. Now, I would like to introduce you to today's presenter, ANA past president and professional educator of 38 years, Walt Ostromecki, is a prolific hobby collector, writer, speaker, and youth family involvement activities educator. He has received numerous top numismatic honors, awards including ANA's highest, the Farron Zerby in 2020, and Numismatic News Ambassador Award in '88. Walt will be presenting Beautiful Botany on Coinage from Around the World Part 2. It's all yours, Walt.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us here from a very fire surrounding Los Angeles here. My house is under possible evacuation too, so we're lucky this program can continue today. But I want to welcome you all, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Some of you came to part 1 or part 2, and we'll try to make this a little more interesting as we go along today. Just a quick background here. I'll just leave this information up for a second, which talks about my background and the color and, of course, the title of the program today. Where I got started, as I mentioned in one, is 1969. I was at UCLA in a botany course, and on the left, I'm there in the picture with her where Dr. Matthias, who we both were in Costa Rica at the time, my grades. But what we started out with last time is the language of flowers, which is basically the color and beauty of those flowers. So we're going to behold the beauty and glow to come today. And I put a couple of samples up here from Canada. The one on the right especially is kind of cool because if you have that coin, you put it on your dresser, it'll glow in the dark. So it's called the dark dance of the spirits. But anyway, that's something here nor there. But during part 1, there were a few questions that were asked. And I don't know if we had time to answer them, but I'm going to answer them here in case these folks are visiting again. At least they have the information. So we'll go down the questions and then I'll show the items as well before we get into today's program. But one was asked, was there any U.S. coinage aside from state quarters and the 35 commemorative half with flowers? No, not colorized ones, but we'll look at some. And it's interesting to note that as early as 1800 in U.S. coinage, from that date on, laurel leaves, wreath, olive branches, etc., appeared on many various denominations of U.S. coins. Second question that I think a lady asked, well, did England have any colorized coins? Well, the answer is yes, but those are listed here in this program under United Kingdom. As early as 2010 on silver issues, a few will be shown in part 2 under England. Will feature the England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. And number 3 here, how do I order coins from the various world mints? Well, the best thing is to Google and get a list of the mints. So you can Google, for example, the United States Mint, and it will provide you with a contact list. But many of the countries do accept U.S. currency. Euros, bank drafts, or wire transfers is the easiest one via phone. You can do that through a local bank, and each of the country's paper currency via registered international mail. But keep in mind, if you do buy something, and for example, when I get to Ukraine today, I will tell you how I did that there, and it took almost a month and a half to receive the item. So that's through international mailing. Whoops. And the fourth one here is, which country has the most color-wise? Well, it's from Canada, and they roughly have 100 or more just in the $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, and $50 colorized coins, both in proof and in gold. So today, as it's near lunchtime, I thought it might be interesting to say that this program, well, is during lunchtime, and we will be offering a numismatic selection, a food selection for you in just a little bit as we begin the program, so you can sit back and enjoy. So here's the questions, the commemorative coinage. Of course, the one here from 1997, the botanical garden itself had a nice red rose. None of these are colorized, by the way. 1999 P, the Dolly Madison had 2. So it's here on your right of your screen. We'll get into the jasmine, which is considered the love flower. So no wonder why she liked it. And of course, here on the left of the thing, this is the White House. This is the huge weeping willow that's been there since the 1780s, I think, on the property where they built it. So that was one. Whoops. This is the flowers to get a chance to show you what a botanist sees on a coin that doesn't have the flower, but the Cape Jasmine here is on the left. And of course, this is the huge weeping willow tree at the White House grounds. I got this picture from the White House Historical Society. So again, other commemoratives were issued 2008 We did issue a World War I commemorative, Poppy, among the barbed wire here. It's on the left, number 1. And you're not seeing the information today due to the fact all of it has stuff for the kids at UCLA, which I give this program out for the pre-med students, which is required. So I had to block that out. I'm sorry. I can't share quantities and so forth with you today. And of course, on the left here is the police officers enforcement. The first actual colorized coin that we had, though it's not a flower, is the 2020 Basketball Hall of Fame quarter. And for the young lady about the England coin, well, this was a 2013 1-pound gold coin from my collection. It has a leek and the daffodil on it. They're both national symbols, and we'll get to those again. Don't worry about the program to the right. It deals for the students that use this program. But this is one of the first colorized coins. I could not find a 2010. That was the earliest first colorized coin, a Britannica coin. And also one other thing was asked about a colorized coin. Well, a colorized loonie, which is the $1 coin. Canada has done away with the $1 paper currency. So the first colorized on that dealt with the 2020 UN Charter, and it acknowledged their 75th anniversary of the UN Charter. So it covers 2 different things. But just to quickly run through a few things here, the Canadian maple leaf has always been the popular design. And there's all sorts of different ones here because I didn't want to spend much time, but the one on the right is the 2024, the latest for King Charles III's coronation with the maple leaf and a triangle. But look at the color from 2004. Look at how crude it seems to look on the left. But then we've got the flaming one. We've got the silver background for universe, gold gilded. And you got some other ones too that are maple leaf, gold gilded, lettering in the background. They're universe designs, both green and purple. And then some of the other ones, the glow in the dark. There's the 2014 on the left, and what they call on the doozy stone. And that's basically, the doozy stone is something similar to a US name for a geode. So it's a little drop on it, which looks like a quartz crystal. Anyway, one of my favorites are the holograms. So I did promise you lunch as we begin our program today. So sit back and enjoy and pretend this is a nice hot pizza waiting for you. But here we have the 2020 €5 colorized coin with an olive pizza. And of course, on the right, you have a flower and you have the olive trees and buds and leaves. Now, this is how I see it as a botanist for the tree in the background here on the coin above the clown figure. Interesting. There's over 1 million of these were made. And some of the ones we find interesting, here we have a 1981 20-cent Jamaica coin with an ackee fruit. Well, you see the coin on the left without being colorized, but on the right, you'll see this appendaceae right here. It looks like something has 2 little eyes bulging out with a mouth. A very cute, interesting flower. So this is what I see as a botanist in a coin that doesn't have the color. And hopefully you will see that throughout the program today. Another one here, we have Jamaica. No colors yet. We'll get to those in just a couple of seconds. But we have a moha tree. The Malvaceae is a tilapia. And it's just a regular tree, but this is way of the branches it is, so you get to see the color. And it's on the reverse of the 20-cent coin. Japan, 1929. This is an older coin, a Tensein. It has the Royal Empress tree. You see what it looks like without the color, and this is the tree as it would be seen, the Paluini. And it is just a beautiful thing, very similar to the jacaranda, but not the same. And of course, Japan also had other ones too, and we're going to get to a couple of colorized in just a second. In 1989, 100 yen, Heisei. And this is the native species there for their cherry tree. And of course, something that you might want to find interest. I found out about this from a friend, but here we have the, shall we say, the cherry tree flower from the coin from 1973. It's 100 yen. And it was a painted on, enameled, hand painted by a Japanese artist, one of a kind. Now, this item was listed on Etsy, another one of the places to buy things online. They have a lot of, sometimes they have coins and other things online there too. Most of it deals with clothing and so forth. But it was listed at $100 US. And it actually sold for, get this, I hope you're all seated and enjoying your pizza, put it down. They sold for well over $400. It's unique, it's one of a kind. I don't know if the artist has done others. We couldn't find the artist's name, but it was just produced. So in a sense, we have a color. Again here, now this is from Jordan. We've got a 1995 5 dinar coin. It's for the United Nations color. Now the actual color on this particular proof one has their black iris flower. What they did, rather than colorizing the flower, they colorized the background. So that black is etched on as a color. And on the left, you get to see the dark purple, and the bottom part of the leaf there of the iris is almost as black as the background here. But it's interesting, most of the coins too also list the name of it. They don't list the scientific name, but that's what a botanist would do. And we'll move on to Kazakhstan. And here we have a 2010 500 tenge silver coin with a hologram. This is a hologram. See, it's hard to get them. And I have to take some of these off the websites. But it's a hologram poppy field. And here's what a field would look like with the Papavium here in Kazakhstan. So this particular coin, you might ask, what's 5 tenge worth? In US money, roughly 70 cents. But it's nice to have the flower and the hologram on the coin. Kerbateri also used to be part of the Gilbert Islands. Again, we're going to look at some non-colored ones, but you see on the left what a color one would look like. Here we have a 50-cent coin with a screw pine fruit. It's called a pandia nut there. The pandias is here on the left to show you the color. So this is again what a botanist would see and what I see and collecting the coins. Laos, 1952, we've got a 10-cent hold coin with a plumeria. You're probably familiar. Plumeria is a nice house plant to have as well. But there are a few things. It's their national tree. They call it Dak Champa. So, and then we're going to get into, well, here's Laos, believe it or not. And they're issued their first coin, if you want to call it that, 70,000 kips. What does it equal down there in the US? About $3.50. But this particular one is a silver one. It's colorized for spring mood. I'm showing both the reverse and the obverse of the coin here, spring mood. Now, unfortunately, these coins were minted by the Russian mint, and looks like they're not very good at colorizing things for the public. But this particular one was issued in 500. Proof-like, they're not proof considered. So we've got that to go on. And then we come to something here, Latvia 2021, a €5 colorized, which is called the miracle coin. Why? Well, light invites us to look at the world for inspiration. Light opens up a path to beauty, miracles, and hope. And it says the motif for this metal plant is to give enlightenment to the world. So if you notice on the left of the coin, the light shines out through the flowers to give us light. And Latvia is very supportive of miracles, beauty, and so forth, but light, as we'll see in a couple more of their coins coming up, which are colorized. Next, Latvia, here we've got a 2023 €2. It's a color bimetallic coin with a sunflower. Sunflower is not their national one, but they honor Ukraine as its national flower. And you can see on the right side there, the helianthus, the sunflower as it would look in the wild, And we'll cover that at the end too. We deal with something called Bitcoins for the future of colorized coins. Whoops. And this is the item I mentioned earlier when you get it directly from mints. So this is what they come in, holders and so forth. They do a great job. This ran me roughly $79 US plus almost $45 postage. It took about 2 months to receive it, but it's nice to have the information here. It's in their language as well. It's a great setup. Look at the sunflower with the coin in it with another sunflower. They add a little golden patina to it here in the center ring. Lebanon, 1952, we've got a 50 piastres silver coin. Now take a look at the cedars. You've never seen the cedars of Lebanon, as it's called. This is in biblical paces. This was taken from one of the books by one of our past presidents and the great numismatist and author from retired author of the Red Book, Ken Brissett. So he actually, I guess, pictured this from one of his trips to Lebanon. So we get to see that as well. Leso, here we've got a 1979 5 coin. In the background, there's mountains. And of course, we have, most of you are familiar with the agave. This is the Americana. We call it just a century plant, and it blooms once in a century. And what students like to find interesting is it's edible. And of course, whoops, what did I go here? I skipped one, I think. No, that's okay. So I want to also come up to a coin. We just talked about Ken Brissett. And here's a coin from East Libya, which is basically under Russian rule right now. But this coin was struck illegally and is not recognized by Libya's central bank. But it's a 2017 1 dinar coin with the extinct silphium plant. And the coin was minted in Russia. But the plant itself, this is the thing, and I'll show you another colorized. The plant itself, come on, there it is. This is an ancient coin from the 7th century, which has that coin, the flower head. It according to Ken Brissett's article, which is in the new December 2024 Numismatist, he went into great detail about this particular plant and its miraculous use for all sorts of health problems back in those days. And some marvelous flower. It's too bad it's extinct, but it might be nice. If we had some DNA, we could take a look at it and do a lot more research on it. But I don't have this coin. This is from a friend of mine that is in a local club here that deals with ancients. Well, we're going to get some more color ones. We're going to start seeing a lot of them. A lot of the countries, Luxembourg was one of the first to issue not only a colorized coin, but it put a gold leafing and a gold plating on both sides of the coin. Their €5 is here. And it's interesting that the Arnacchia flower is from Montana. Why they put a Montana state, U.S. state design flower on it, I don't know. Those are background mountains in Montana state itself. An interesting combination, but these are just some things. Macau, which is now part of mainland China, they issued a commemorative in 2009 for 100 years. It's a commemorative colorized silver coin with a lotus flower in full bloom. However, as a botanist, they didn't do too good at depicting the lotus bloom itself on the coin. And the actual color is not red, but this is it here. This is a Nymphalium nuifera, and it's a pinkish color. Pink changes from dark to light. And if you note in the center, you can see where the seeds are from this particular plant here on the right. But it's a nice one. They're silver coins. You at least got the silver bullion in many cases with these. This particular one only has a 925 silver, and it's less than a ½ ounce. There's not much value for its silver. Over 3 million of these were minted as a commemorative, and I assume there's a lot of them circulating in China itself. Luxembourg will go on again here. Another €5, another gold plated. What you see from the coin here, it has the nice name of the coin, the €5, the gold gilding on it, color to it. And this is what a botanist sees, is what I see in it. When I look at the coin, I see the orchid in its full bloom here in glory. This is from this one happens to be in one of the gardens here at UCLA. Great flower to see. And it flowers probably 2 to 3 months at a time. Madagascar, well, you're probably all familiar with this one. We call it a euphorb, but it's a poinsettia flower, and it's one of their national flowers. This particular coin, though, is what they call an essie. It's a large, thick pattern coin of the particular coin. 100 of these were issued in 1965. I do have one in my collection and bought it probably in the early 1970s. It was about $20 then. It's probably triple or double that particular value nowadays. So they'll let coins that have an essay, they write on it, as you can see on the coin left. I guess twice the thickness of a regular coin. Beautiful red color for the euphorbia. Madagascar, again, we're going to look here at a 2023 to every coin. The vanilla plant, bean, I'm sure most of you might use this in your seasoning when you make cakes, make vanilla ice cream. My daughter likes me to make those from this particular plant here, but it's depicted on this 2003 coin. This again is what the flower looks like in all its beauty and glory. Now, the flower does not have the vanilla itself. It comes in the stem and through the roots of that. That's why it's depicted here on the coin as well. Malawi, well, you're all probably familiar with this. You probably had some during Christmas or maybe New Year's Day. You put some on the barbecue. But here's a 1964 1 shilling coin with a bundle above it. It was the first year of issue for them. They used a particular one. It was issued once, 1 year only, 1964. My records show that 7 million roughly were minted that particular year. This happens to be one of the 250 proof issues from Malawi. You're all familiar with coins. Again, Malawi, look at, well, you ever know what sorghum is? You got millet, you call it. The coin here depicts it. They're 50 francs, 1975 has it. You can see the color of it here, and most of it's brown. They do a pretty good job depicting the coin on it. Malta. Another one is not colorized. We have a 1998 25-cent coin. The Rolandia flower. It's actually a member of the rose family. You can see it here on the right. But again, it's a nice, beautiful design. Malta does some good designage when their mint does coins. And then Malaysia. Get into some here again. You've probably seen what a hibiscus looks like, and many of you might have it in your yards or at home, maybe in a thing. It's Malaysia's national flower, but it's actually a Chinese hibiscus species. Interesting, but they're not botanists. And here, Malaysia again. It's a 2013 50 sen coin from Malaysia. And it on the reverse of the coin would be a problem. If you just saw that, what you think some scrawl on there, but that's actually a pea pod with the tendrils. And you can see the pea pod here on the right with the tendrils on it. These here tendrils pull it up along so it can grow above the ground on the stick. So they put things up for these to grow to keep the peas off the ground from the animals getting to them. But the Lathyrus here, it takes an taxonomist here to actually identify this particular plant here on that Malaysia coin. And we'll move into Mexico. You're probably familiar with this. On most of their coins, I just use a 1985 El Paso $5 peso coin with a prickly pear below the eagle here on a $5 coin. This coin was dipped by a friend of mine who sells them in Texas. He made it look like a gold coin. So it's not colorized, but it's dipped. And you get a chance to see what a flower looks like. You don't live in the desert area. And Moldova issues some beautiful flowers, and we're going to get into some more colored particular ones as well. And here we have a 2021 5-lake colorized coin. It's 999 silver, and it has what we call the anemone flower, and it's a member of the ranunculus family. But if you notice how their colorization there is, it's pretty doggone good as to what the actual flower looks like here on the right. Even got a lot of the detail. Some of the mints that do this. But Moldavia uses the Hungarian mint and sometimes the Greek mint to mint their coinage. And Morocco here again, You get to see on the left a 2011 10 centimes coin with a Moroccan saffron flower. And we all know how expensive saffron is. For one little dash, it's like $200 for a little dot. And of course, it has the bee on it as well. And that was for way for pollination to make it. But it's interesting that this only grows in the Moroccan Tulang coast. And it's very rare today. It's a member of the iris family. Some people call it a crocus, but look at the beautiful detail. They did a good job too, putting the veins in with the flower, putting the theme in the pistil, the female male parts there. They did a doggone good job showing the pollination process. Mozambique, well, you've never seen a cashew. You've probably eaten a lot of them. I love them. But we've got here from 1994 at 20 Metecas, a Mozambique cashew tree. And it portrays the fruit. Well, on the left, you can see the anacardium fruit here. It's interesting that surrounding the nut, actually the center, is a pollinated fruit that we eat, which is the cashew. But the rest of the fruit on the outside technically is not edible. It has a sour taste to it. It's not toxic. It doesn't bother you. It might give you an upset stomach, but it's interesting to see and how these are picked out. Can you imagine? Just like apples, out. And Mozambique again, there's another 2075 5 centimos, which has an African rain daisy. And well, I could ask you how often does it rain in Africa? Not very often, but when it does, you get the flower scene as you see here on the right. And they did a pretty good job of depicting the flower accuracy in designs. Namibia, same thing. We've got a 2009 10-cent coin with a camel thorn tree. Now, that's not very good depiction here of the coin on the 10-cent piece from 2009. But here on the right, you get a chance to see that particular plant or tree with the fruit. That's the white things that are hanging down. But right behind him, there are very vicious, long spines, which are to keep the animals away from eating it. A lot of it's out in the desert area too of Africa, which is dry. So here we've got it behind a thing, but it's an interesting one to see what it really looks like. Another one of theirs, which is an aloe plant. That's from 1993. It's a 5-cent piece. And you all use alloy to cream and soften your hands and in your soap and in your excuse me, smoke's getting to me here. In your lotions and things too. So this is what it looks like. Now it can get up to 4 feet tall. So they do a pretty good job of showing the base here on the reverse of that 5-cent coin. Nepal, this is a very crude piece. That's the way they come out there from the Nepal mint. And Nepal, it must have some kind of mint, but it's probably from the ancient times that makes these coins. This is the best part of the design. It's actually dubbed as a burnish. It's called, you're all familiar with the rhododendron, probably 1971 here. Beautiful color. This coin is the best of anything. And over 9 billion of these were made. So they probably don't circulate too well in Nepal. It's a very isolated country with cold snows most of the year round. And then we get into something we're all more familiar with, and I won't spend too much time here. But the Netherlands, 1980, a 5-cent coin in orange with leaves. You all know what an orange looks like. I don't want to tell you about that. They didn't do too bad a job. And of course, their subsidiary, the Netherlands Antilles, here we've got a 1970 5-cent square coin. Orange tree there, a little better design. Both done by the Dutch Mint there. Interesting. There's what the tree looks like. I'm sure you're familiar with that. Now we're going to get into New Zealand and some more colorized coins. This country, along with Canada and Australia, have issued the most overall colorized coins. And here, just a simple one before a colorized coin comes up, but it's a 1967 2-cent coin with a kawa tree. It's their national flower. And of course, the coin doesn't show the beauty, but the botanist sees the picture on the left here, the Sephora. Beautiful. It's got a fragrance. You can smell it a mile away. The fragrance from this tree is unbelievable when it's in full bloom, and it's got hundreds. It almost looks like sunspots if you go through there. savannah there in New Zealand. This is one of my favorite, and I paid through the nose to get this coin, 2021. But it's a 2021 $1 coin, 999 silver, 1 ounce, colorized. Brown kiwi is nesting surrounded by, well, the New Zealand silver ferns or the fronds. I just love the design. I wish they'd colorize more so, but the frond is silver and it is a silver coin. So I assume the designers put that into it. But this particular coin cost me nearly $1,500. I've got several friends that send them to me in New Zealand. We do programs online with one of the New Zealand Numismatic societies. But you can see what the silver fern looks like in here. This is the bottom part. This is where the seeds will grow. The top part is the green you see in the background here. Nigeria, well, how about cocoa beans? You probably had cocoa, maybe some of you this morning. Maybe you're having them during this program to stay awake. It's a good course of caffeine as well. And you get a chance to see it. It shows a pretty good job here. The seeds and the ground powder are shown here, the Timburema. And Niue Island, another one that produces a lot of colorized coins. This is where the country, small island nation, picks up a lot of revenue. And we were talking earlier about colorized coins for Remembrance Days and honoring all the soldiers in World War I and II. And here, their 2018 $2 coin. I get the smoke out of my throat. There we go. Silver coin on the Flanders poppy. But if you take a look at the flower, now notice the way the flower design is set up here in the actual flower, the Papaver rose. The heart-shaped disc is in the center of the petal. Now that's a petal on top of a petal, a flower petal. Two of them. It's a unique design, and it's only here on this particular island, which it is endemic to. So it's a beautiful thing to see, but I love the design, and it's just a wonderful flower to see. Even the seeds here on the coin show it up for the Flanders fields. Niue, this is not a color, this is a silver coin, but it's not colorized, but they've also issued one in 2018, a $2 silver piece, which is the Tree of Life. And the coin actually traces the life of an almond tree, which we covered in the first part of this particular program, from birth to adulthood, when it starts producing almond seeds. Now, if you want to get into almond farming, keep this in mind. It takes approximately 5 to 8 years plus process for it to begin to produce almonds. It flowers, but it doesn't actually produce them when it's in younger stages. So a little bit of extra trivia you may or may not wish to know. And again, here's the Tree of Life, which is the gold colored one. I cover a colored one here as well. And you get a chance to see it's gold leaf. It's an almond tree, the life that we just covered. And if you're not familiar with it, here's the almonds with the flower. And up in Northern California, around Sacramento, there are groves of almond trees. So we're lucky to have those here in California. There's a few out here in the UCLA Botanical Garden as well. North Korea, well, they've issued a coin. They're not very good designs, and most of them are made out of aluminum. And they're very crude, it seems like. But here's a 2008, a 5 chon. And it has a magnolia, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, various magnolias in your gardens. Norway, this is one here. A friend of mine here that also was a member of ANA and collects coins too and owns a coin business, let me use this particular coin from Norway. It's a 1978 50 kroner. Now it's an MS State 66, okay, with the flower and stem as you're seeing here. Now, can we consider this colorized? Does natural toning on a coin because of the oils over the years make it a colorized coin? Well, I got to thinking and got talking with my friend Mike about this. He says, well, Bob, I'll give you the pictures. I've sold the coin, but you have the right to use the pictures. So I thank Mr. Mike Kittle here for this, but this was the coin for the 75th anniversary. And we'll get to the coins that are here. These are both certified MS 66. That's the only one noted in that high grade by NGC. And this is what he has him. He shared with me the slabs, and I put him in the circles here. So you could actually see it. So it's colored, but the slab shows a little more coloring. I was able to pick up than taking a photograph of it. I guess my photography needs a lot to be desired. I wish they still had, I just had Rob Kelly there at A&A to help me with this. But Nova Scotia, it's a province in Canada, and it's one of the earlier coins, world coins to have a coin, to have a flower on it. It's an 1856 halfpenny token, actually, but it's circulated as money. But it has the branch of the pink Mayflower. Yeah, you might be able to imagine that, but here's what it looks like. Epigea, beautiful little color, very small, dainty looking. This particular coin is pictured in AU grade. And if you can find it even in that grade, over 6 million were made. And of course, being nearly 200 years old, the doggone coins have been well circulated at that time in the province before Canada issued its own coinage. But the particular AU50 is one of the highest grades, according to BCGS. And the coin would range somewhere between $2,000 to $5,000. If you're able to find a MS60, it would be over $10,000, according to their estimates. And Oman here, well, we're covering other things too, but I wanted to have some of the other countries. Here we got a 1978 half real with a lemon fruit on it. And you're all familiar with the lemon fruit here on the side. You've seen it. This one is not in flower, but it's certainly has some nice lemons. Pakistan, 1969, Lipiesa with a white jasmine flower. We covered the jasmine a little bit earlier in another coin, but it's their national flower. So I tried to put those in this particular program here, and you get to see what a white jasmine looks like. And you probably have some, maybe even in your garden. Palau, a republic, is also in Micronesia. And they've issued a number of silver coins like Canada, Australia, New Zealand, to actually increase their revenues. They're geared towards a small island nation of several islands. And here we have the 2019 Palau 10 ounce. This is a 2 ounce. Now these are 2 ounce coins of silver. So we know figure silver at $30 is at least $60 if silver is at $30 an ounce. But what's interesting is that this coin, and I tried some way to do it to really show, but it has a high relief. Now notice the red, you've got the lower one, and above it, the flowers above it. So the coin actually is what? High relief. A couple of our gold coins were made that way for collectors too back in 2009, but they're both high reliefs. The same thing here with their lotus flower, which has crystal drops on it. I just put the two here, but these are both high relief. So you can touch the coin, you can feel the crystals, you can feel the flower. I wouldn't put your fingers on, use a glove, but the beautiful design. Look at the detail. And this was done by the New Zealand Mint for Palau. Again, for those of you that like to go to Las Vegas, you want to carry something in your pocket. Well, here's an idea. Again, Palau will take from Micronesia, 2022 $5 colorized gold coin with clovers. 4-leaf clovers too to bring you luck. So this is a silver coin. It's not, it looks gold colored, but it's not. But it's interesting too, that's actually a mutation, a genetic mutation. And once the class asked me, how often do you see mutations? Well, probably 1 in 1,000 leaves, maybe 1 in 2,000. But it just happens to be automatically. You can go out and pick them in your yard if you have clovers, and you can find a particular flower. People's Republic of China. I just added this one recently. I finally got a copy sent to me by a friend. 2022, a 5 yuan silver coin, but this is only basically 1/10 of an ounce of silver in it. It has a Cote begonia. Actually, but it's a peony flower, but they didn't do a very good job of colorizing the flower because on the left, as you can see, the color is not this way. There's not red lower part. So they've not done a very good job in reproducing it, but it is a variety. It's a hybrid variety, a nice coin. It runs about $5, $10. Again, I think there was 8 or 10 million made. 22. Peru, well, you need if you're into smoking, here's your coin for that. They've got a 25 centavos, the chiconia tree flower, which is called the quinaquina. And the bark of it is what? Well, if you look at here on the left, it'll tell you the bark of the quinine medical source. So the bark of this tree, not the leaves, not the flowers, but the bark is a source still for quinine. Philippines, they haven't had any, they just put a colorized coin out this year, coming year, 2025 now. But 1991, take a look at the Amboya wood tree here. It's Philippine mahogany. You might have a table or chest in your home, maybe something, a bed frame. It's made of this mahogany, highly prized wood. Well, here's a chance to get a look at what the tree looks like in flower. The tree is behind it here. So it's an interesting way to learn a little bit more about it. Another one's from Philippines. We've got a 2018 5 peso. It's called a Walling Walling orchid, or some people call it Wailing Wailing, but it's a Walling Walling orchid. It's their national flower. And it's depicted there on the left of this particular thing. And on the right, you see what the flower actually looks like. As much as the coin is good, the color added to it if they've done it. I just put the particular note up there for numismatists because they always ask, well, where's the date on the coin? They can't find it. Well, it's up in the line there at the top. So it's incused, it's cut in to the coin itself. Now, the Pacific Northwest Numismatic Association is not basically a country, but they have a habit of issuing tokens for various shows. And while I was there at their 2011 and 12 show at Tukwila, they did hammering coins, which happened to have a palm tree. Thought I'd share that as well. And these might still be available from their website, Pacific Northwest Numismatic Association. You can contact their editor there. Excuse me, Eric Holcomb. But they had a lot of these made up in both just copper, nickel, and silver. This is a silver piece. I did a program there and they presented me with a speaker's program in silver. They had about 150 silver done. They were actually hammered at the show. Well, the guy made a lot of noise doing it. Move on here to Portugal, 2019. We might be able to make the end this 5 euro silver colorized coin. And it's interesting to note that the flower here again, it's just an annual flower, comes up. It's endangered in Portugal for that reason. But notice it's on both sides of the coin, one of the few ones, but they only colorize the obverse of it, or reverse, excuse me, reverse of the coin. These particular ones will run you about $2,000 a piece if you can find one. They were less than 250. It said 248 were actually produced in the 5 euro design. Portugal also issued another one too, when it was, I guess you could say, it was head of the president of the Council of Congresses there that they had, a 2007 €2 coin. It's a cork oak. You've all probably seen corks in your bottles, your wine bottles anyway. National tree. They didn't do a very bad job. They made the tree look raised, although it's flat. See the green and the yellow in it. This is what the cork tree in the back looks like. This is the cork that's taken off it on the bottom of the picture here. Just a simple oak. Portugal again. Here's another one that they did, 2003. I can get these. They're quite inexpensive. These are for an endangered. They do a lot of endangered species in Portugal. But the spearmint, you've all probably found that in gums and other ways of doing it. Here's what the spearmint looks like here, the menthium. Beautiful flower. Again, they did a pretty good job of colorizing it. Portugal did that. We'll move on to Rwanda. Well, you probably had this morning as I did, although mine was cold because I don't have heat here yet in the house until the city turns it back on because of the wildfires. But here's a 1985 10 francs. It's a small type coin. So it's smaller than a cent. So it looks larger here. But it's a coffee tree with coffee berries. And if you haven't seen them, you've probably seen them darkened when you buy them coffee to be ground from the stores. But this is what it looks like naturally in the wild on the trees. So this again, what a botanist see, I see it here. There's the seeds, there's the leaves. They did a good job of laying it out. Rwanda again, now here we have a colorized one. 2011, 500 francs, silver colorized, with a Vandia orchid. And they, along with a couple of other countries, especially Singapore, we'll get to that in just a second, has done hundreds of various orchids on coins. But they list it here. They list their little Buddha system here and doing good. And on the back, you've got 2 sprigs. They're not orchids, but the 500 design. But here is the orchid. There are over 90 different color subspecies. Beautiful flower. They did a pretty good job. Very detailed work. Because I remember this is done by dots added to after the coin is produced. We covered that in part 1. Here again is another one, Rhodesia. The area now is known as Zimbabwe, but this is back when Rhodesia was still a British colonial period. They issued a 1975 5-cent coin, 1-year design, with what they called a flame lily. And we can see it here, Gloria Sabrosa, here in the flower color one. And next, we're going to see a colorized coin, but it's not from Rhodesia or Zimbabwe, but South Africa issued a 2009 5 rand silver coin with a colorized flame lily. And notice how the color there is pretty good. Let's go back to the flower. Take a look at the flower here. And then we'll move it here to the coin. They did a marvelous job of, meshing the colors together to really make it look beautiful. Notice the seeds on the side, the male part of the flower. You get to see it in all its glory. Samoa, another country that issues a number of silverized and gold gilded coins to increase its revenue. Strelitzia here, which is the common bird of paradise as you know it. But this is the golden variety. It's yellow, not the orange one. This is actually their being here, and look how they've gilded it in there. They've made it look just like the design here with the background of leaves in it. They did a great job. Again, it's a $5 silver coin. Samoa, you've never seen a breadfruit. Some of the farmers markets offer these for sale every now and then, and they're delicious to eat. Oh, what a Sunday treat it is to have. But here's from Samoa, 2006, the 20 coin. You get the chance to see what the breadfruit looks like. And I didn't put the cut in half. Okay. Anyway, gone to Samoa, another 2010. It's the ginger. You may use ginger in your all sorts of pies and cookings and things. But it's called an ostrich plume. Well, the coloring would be wrong, but it sure looks like a nice ostrich plume on the note itself. Another beautiful coin itself. Seon and Príncipe. This is the 1997 100 dobres. This is a 7-sided coin with the similar ginger flower on it as well. Different species, but notice how it grows here. They did a pretty good job on the Doris coin. Santa Lucia. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time here. We've got a 2001 $2 coin colorized, again with a torch lily. So this is just a small island nation. Look at the beauty. They did a good job of capturing it on their silver coin. And since we're talking about coins, well, how about some currency? Well, I mentioned the Seychelles Islands. Here's a 25 rupees banknote with a Wright's gardenia on it too. It's native only to one island, Idri Island. It's the centerpiece. Here's the flower here on the left. Here's a design on the note. It almost looks like they took it from this particular photo here on the left of the Romania. Beautiful thing. So you can collect currency too. There's only a few countries that have currency with flowers depicted on them. Usually people, mostly women coming to nowadays, starting about 2020, are becoming more prevalent on currency. This one here, I think you're going to leave it for a second. You ladies, if you're out there, you might want to cover your face. But this is one of the most interesting coins in the Seychelles. The 2007 5 rupees coin. It's a Coco de Mer palm tree. Here on the left, rather than showing the palm tree, I decided to show the seed. And of course, the students in UCLA get a kick out of this one. It's not edible, but it sure gives you something to think about. Put your imagination to work, and I'll let you leave it with that. as to what the seed looks like. We'll move on to another Seychelles. This is a jellyfish plant. This is one of the coolest ones, I think, if you can see them in the wild. But the 2016 25-cent coin. The coin is fine, but this is what you see on the left as a botanist. It looked just like a jellyfish hanging from a tree, a long stem, and boy, they did a good job on that one there. Sierra Leone, another banknote, because I wanted to show that the coin wasn't colorized, but the banknote is. Here's 100 leones, 10,000 leones. I'll get it right yet. And this was their proud center tree, also called the capo tree. And unfortunately, during a rainstorm, finally, the tree had been there since the early 1800s in the town, in Freetown, the capital. The tree was destroyed by a torrential rain and winds, which we were experiencing here in California, you probably know. On May 25th, 2003, it went down, but this is what the tree looked like. This is a picture of it from the Sierra Leone Museum there, downtown. And here again, Sierra Leone, another cocoa. You ever never seen a cocoa tree with pods? Use your opportunity to see what a botanist sees, the color, the beauty, the nature that's there, but speaks of it. Singapore, you probably are familiar with the powder puff plant here on their 1988 20-cent coin. It's a calendria, we call it here. We see it very dainty, center of the flower. The bees and wasps that have to get in to pollinate have to actually burrow in to the flower to get down to it to pollinize it. And again, Singapore, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the largest countries issuing all sorts of blooming orchids. And this particular orchid is the largest and longest blooming orchid on the 2011 Singapore $5 silver coin, the tiger lily. They did a good job of depicting it. But the flower can reach up to 3.5 feet. And it can have thousands of flowers on it, and it can last 6 to 8 months in bloom. Can you imagine having this in your house? Not very fragrant, but it's a nice coin to have. Again, very limited quantity of many of these proof coins. This particular one, there was a series issued of 4 coins. Each of them was listed as 1,000 proofs. And the price, I'm not going to go there, is way more than I can afford. I'm not a millionaire. One of their Singapore ones, here's the single $5 colorized coin for Cymbidium. Nicely designed. 1 ounce silver fine here as well. Going to Singapore, well, maybe you may not care about a periwinkle, but we have them in our gardens. This is a Venetia. Many of these grow everywhere. It's a great edging and lawn and area. Good coverage. But there was the thing talking about the ribbons was something that one of the numismatists pointed out to me when I did the program for a coin club. The difference in ribbons can make the difference between this coin being worth an uncirculated $3 and $300. So somehow they muled some of those obverses of the coin. In Singapore, we're going to move along here to trying to keep it. Oh, I'm going to be a little bit over the hour line, but here again, yellow, the Albania flower. Singapore, another orchid. Dendrolobium. Singapore with a dendrolobium on a piece of currency. Slovenia. Take a look at the leaf here. We want to look at the cinquefoil, Axopotentilia, member of the rose family. We've got a 5 trophy coin. I'm going to smoke skit. Let me hold on a second. Get to the Solomon Islands. They've issued again a lot of coinage, most of them in silvers, starting about 2020, $5. These are also 2 ounce coins. This was to honor King Charles. It's a colorized white daisy, clearly marked daisy. People can identify that. They don't need to be a botanist. South Africa floral beauty. They issued a whole issue, and this was one of the promotion pieces they sent out to us. But there's about 22 different coins, all silver, all 5 rand silver. I'm just going to show a couple here. Well, this is not in silver, but the Royal Protea flower is being shown here. Here's one of those coins from that set, 2016, the 5 rand, they're 925 silver. It's a Dicia orchid. Kind of cute. Look at it naturally. Again, we've been through the Strelitzia, we've been through the bird of paradise around the coin. This is the orange variety. This is one of the interesting, the aloe varix plant here. It can grow up to 5, 10, even 14 feet tall. Two 6-foot guys standing below it. So you can get an idea of what it looks like. It's on an earlier issue, 10-cent coin. South Africa, again, they've issued some of those coins, as I mentioned. A lot of the 5 rand silver. Tritonia here. Beautiful, nice, good job. South Africa, another, but it's a Cape aloe. Look at the kind of S it makes on it. I always call it, people call it the Superman aloe. Kind of cute way to do it, but look at the good design. They did a good job of copying the coin on their 20-cent piece. Again, here's their cameo slab. I happen to own this one. The 5 rand silver coin. And it's proof 69, as it says here, but it's a spider orchid. Beautiful. Look at the beautiful design we can see on the coin that's colorized. Spain, interesting tree on a Canary Island only. Draxenia. Look how it's designed. It doesn't show up much on the coin. This is how the tree grows. This is not pruned. This is just naturally it's paved so you can see it. You can look up at it. So it has a real unique base to it. Swaziland. Now again, we have a leadwood tree here on a 1972 2-cent coin. Trying to rush a little bit for time, so don't want to keep you folks too long. Switzerland has some colorized coins. They did some here at 10 franc silver, an alpine silver on a silver coin. Get a chance to see, look at the detail of the flower. Again, I wish they did some colorization. Here's an alpine genetine plant. It's a 2-piece coin, 10 francs from 2017, regular coinage. Taiwan, we've got 1967, a Mei-ling orchid. Coin is a nice job, but here's what the flower looks like. The beauty, the color that a botanist sees in that particular coin. Tanzania, 2016 100 shillings coin, a silver slipper. Not a bad job. They did a good one here. Look at it in this particular coin. See the color. Tanzania, they issued a coin for the program to save the rainforest. This is one of those in 2016. 100 shillings, silver plated. It's not a silver coin. It's a World Wildlife Federation series issued. A nice coin. Depicts more than thing. Tokalu. Well, here's one. If you want to talk about snowflakes, how does that tie into a flower design? Well, Tokalu did it with their coin. They issued one coin, one silver coin in 2015, 1 ounce silver. And it has a filigree snowflake flower design. And this shows the flower design here on the right side where the arrow is, which is in the center of their particular coin. Again, the black background in this coin is a colorized portion to highlight the queen as well as the flower, the snowflake itself. Tonga, familiar with coconuts. Here we got a 1981 5-cent coin. You all know what coconuts look like. Here's a school food project that we did here a while back. Tonga, again, they issued a lot of fruits. Banana, you're all familiar with the banana. You probably have a lot of black bananas at home. You leave them and they get greasy. Well, you can go there, but it's one of that. Here's Tonga again with an interesting one. It's a flute flower. It's called Garnecia. And it has little dainty. This is a very dainty flower. Beautiful orange color on it. Here's a 2015 5-cent coin. Tonga, this is what the fruit of the Garcia looks like. Giant. Looks like many fruits put together. And don't worry about the toxic issues. That's for the students. Trinidad Tobago, we've been through their national flowers at Chokina. Wazarovsky, there you go. Cosina. Tunisia, You're probably familiar with the cork oak, the branches, the tree is here again on it. Second country that's used the cork oak. Turkey, previously called Turkey. If you ever had seen wheat growing wild, here it is pictured on their coin, and many other coins too from countries. It also is pictured here on a vine. Uganda. Bank of Uganda issued a coin we covered in the part one, part of the flowers. The flowers can be white, yellow, or pinkish with cotton. Something to keep in mind, especially in Africa. That's because of the temperatures and so on. They call these ground nuts on their 2-shilling coin. Get the Ukraine, this is what I was talking about earlier. Here's the Ukraine to Irvini, which shows the serpedium orchid. Beautiful design color. This is a proof coin. Ukraine, again, this is all you have cyclamen. This is also used as a Christmas flower. It's actually a member of the Edelweiss family. But the beautiful, you have these in your home in pots. Now also take a note here at the coin thing. If you see it later, the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. They have 4 different plants or leaves pictured on this particular coin. You'll get to England. I promised this young lady that I would have this on here. Here's the red poppy fields from UK, 2018 5-pound silver coin. Look at the beautiful fields there. Covered again. This is one of the newer ones. United Kingdom, England. This is one of their original coins issued back in 1946, a 3-pence coin. It covered a sea thread flower which grows along the coasts that many have seen. And this is a European graded coin. Now, they graded it as uncirculated. Okay, that's the European standard, not part of the US. It sold at auction for $703. This is the key to the series. It's the low date. It's the 1909 SVDB, the 14D, the 3-legged buffalo. So this is what it measures up to. Here again from the United Kingdom, Scotland. We have the UK 1984 1-pound, which has a Scottish thistle. This is the beautiful Scottish thistle. You have United Kingdom, Wales, which is England number 4. You have a 2008 1-pound silver with gold-plated leek and crown. Beautiful design. Don't worry about it. I'm sure you folks are not going to eat it, but this is what it looks like that way. And it bears the second portrait of Queen Elizabeth. And here's one of the final ones there from United Kingdom. This is a piper too, or Peaford, but it's a 2007 1-pound, 12-sided. Has all 4 British colonies represented. So the rose for England, the leek for Wales, Scotland gets a thistle, and the shamrock for Northern Ireland. This is the 5th portrait of Queen Elizabeth, the last one. Uruguay, here we have the beautiful coral tree. Many of these are used for street trees. It's on the back of the 1968 1 peso. Vanuatu, I have some more water. The kava kava plant with a sprouting coconut. Just a simple plant, but it's there. And the 2 of them are natural. Zambia, we're winding down here. 1968, first year of issue of their Fatnegi coin. You ever seen a morning glory? I'm sure you have in various colors, but this is the Korombosi is white. They're purple, blues, various colors on these coins. Zimbabwe, a 10-cent coin, again showing a tree. It's the bobo tree. Interesting. It has spines all over the bark to protect it from the wildlife. Zimbabwe, again at $1 coin, which has the great center, their Monument National Stone Center, with 2 milk trees on the side of it here. It's a $1. This is a proof-like issue. Roughly 704 of those were minted for collectors at the time. And now as we're winding down and about to go home, what's in the future for botanical coins or money? Well, I recently discovered an article about this. It says, let's see, Bitcoin taxonomy using the sunflower. Now, taxonomist is one that identifies it. And this, to me, sort of sure looks like the Bitcoin with a sunflower on it. And here again, I can just quickly show you a little bit of the disc that where they are, the receptacle that holds the seeds into it. Does this mean the sunflower Bitcoin can be divided into 1 to 200 flowers per receptacle? Well, a dividend can be. Sometimes you get as much. You know what it costs for a bag of sunflower seeds in the store? And can a sunflower Bitcoin pay big dividends? Well, at least seed-wise, but financially, it's interesting. They were looking at using this as the coin. And lastly, I'm going to just conclude here with two special coins from Canada, especially the one on the right. The one on the left deals with an apple tree in full bloom. But here they did a tribute. Canada did a tribute in 2012 as they were phasing out the 1 cent coin. The United States hasn't done that yet, but Canada decided to get rid of it to save money. And this is a gold leaf silver plated coin. 30,000 were minted. I picked one of these up at a Canadian show that I do a lot of time at. Well, I hope you've found botany and taxonomy on world coins and progress parts 1 and 2 interesting and informative. There have been many more coins, believe it or not, worldwide, which are not covered in this presentation, both colorized and so forth. You can visit a lot of them online. You just Google a country, Google their national flower. Usually gives you an opportunity. But the beauty and color in nature is everywhere for us to enjoy. There are now over, as of 2025, colorized world coins in silver, gold, platinum, palladium. They're coming out. And if you have any questions or just want to chat, I'll be more than glad to do it. I can be reached through email at money.org. So, Paula, I will turn it back to you.
Okay.
Ran about 5 minutes over. Doggone it.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Looks like we've got a thank you. And then also, are you going to be at the summer seminars? Someone is asking.
I hope to. I have been. I usually make them, but every now and then age and traveling time and could make a difference. I do plan. I didn't make last year. I did the 2 before. So yes, I do plan to be there. They are being there. I'll be happy to meet with you. We can sit down. I'll buy you lunch and we can talk. No problem with that.
And then somebody else just wanted to say thank you. This was very interesting. Another question, are there bonsais on coins? Are they colorized?
As far as I know at this time, no, but Japan may be doing it. Many of the countries do not colorize coins. See, and now the trend seems to be as of about 2023 to duplicate what Canada does, put those coins into circulation. So striking circulation pieces, but it's a long process. They strike the coin and then they have to put the dot system on the coin afterwards, 1 at a time. It's like handling a proof coin here. 1 strike, double strike, 1 at a time. So as far as I know, no, not at this point in time.
Okay. I would like to thank everybody for being here, and Walt, especially for you, for a great presentation and taking the time to be here with us. Our NumismaTalks are being recorded and will be available on our website once they're edited. That does take a couple of weeks. Please be sure to check our future programs on our website at money.org under the education tab. And I'm just going to make sure we don't have any more questions, and it doesn't look like it. So
Okay,
Walt, again, thank you so much.
Okay,
And,
Paula,
please stay safe.
I will. I'll keep you all informed as to the issues.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Have a good afternoon.